Okay, so today we'll start with an example of a balloon. We'll be taking the help of ncloth here. So let me create a polygonal platonic solid. I won't be taking a sphere in this case because the sphere I won't be creating a balloon with the help of a sphere because it will create a problem here. Okay, wherever there are triangles, they will like intersect with each other, and I don't want this all lines coming and meeting at this point. So definitely not the best for the cloth. So what I'll do instead of this, I'll be taking a polygonal platonic solid, okay, and I'll be doing a couple of applying a couple of smooth on the top of this. So Control D. Okay, I'm sorry, I used the wrong shortcut. It will be Windows. I'll go to the modeling menu, mesh smooth. Okay. And divide and have this divisions to, so 3 will be good enough. Okay, so take this to 3, you don't want 4 in there. 3 will be good enough for us. Fine. So in this case, what we have is we have all polygons. We don't have triangles. Okay. So I just take it up, okay, a little, and definitely I'll be applying an enclosed system at the top of this. Select it and go to the effects menu, enclosed, and create a enclosed. Okay, let me play this. Let's play this, and definitely it will go down, but it will go on moving, okay, down to the infinity, because there's no collision objects there. So either I can create one, I can create a box and make it a passive collider, or I can just use a default plane which is already there in the enclosed system. So if you go to the nucleus parameters here, okay, in the attribute editor, you will find that there is something called as use plane. So you can use this plane, of course, in here. So when I play it, you will see that it actually collides with that invisible plane, which is really an infinite plane. Okay. You have a bounce on the top of it. You can play around with the bounce parameters. You can play around with the friction stickiness parameters. So those are there by default, but nothing else. Okay, you just have those few parameters. Okay, and there you see the balloon actually collide. Fine. So what I'll do is I don't want this balloons. If you see, there's a black region because the normals, you can see the inside edge of that balloon, which is actually intersecting. Okay, and you can see the lower part is also doing the same thing. Okay, so what I will do is basically use something called as pressure in this case. So if I go to control A attribute, you have a pressure attribute. So if I go and turn on the interactive playback and just increase the pressure a little, slightly, okay, you'll see that it is come back, and then I'll basically again will reduce it so that it goes back to its default. Okay. So so this is basically what I want. Okay, I want that the faces just shouldn't intersect each other. They shouldn't tangle with each other. Okay, and probably this is the look what I would need to start off with. Okay, okay, because in this case at frame 151 you will see that this is what you require. Now if I go back, I'll definitely again have the balloon actually moving from top to bottom. So I'll basically have an initial state saved at this moment. Okay, so I'll go to field and solver, initial state, set for selected, and do that. Okay, let me go back to the frame 0 now. Okay, so you'll see that it's at the same place. Okay, now the idea here is that the balloon should actually move up. Okay, as it inflates, it should under pressure it will inflate and gradually move up in the air. Okay, so along with I'm sorry. Okay, so along with this, I also need that it should have some kind of a rope hanging below. Okay, so I will also need to probably stick a rope at the end here. Okay, so let me create a polygonal. In fact, I'll create a polygonal, let's say plane. Okay, take a plane. We take this polygonal plane and kind of though I don't need so many segments in this case, so I will reduce the segments. I don't need so many segments. Okay, I'll add some height segments, and that will be good enough. Place it somewhere over here. And also give it a ncloth and create a ncloth to this too. Okay, so I'll just give it an ncloth. I won't create a new solver. I'll see that it's a part of the same nucleus system. So I'll just create a nucleus one. Okay. Okay, so fine. Let me play and check it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, if you see, even that small thin plane actually falls down and collides with the floor. Okay, at that point. Okay. So that is okay. That's completely okay. Let me keep it there. Okay. Yeah, I'll just undo it. I just need that rope to be thinner. Okay, so I'll just undo, make it a little bit more, scale it off and make it a little bit more smaller so it looks like a rope. Okay. I'll edit, delete by type history. This. Okay. And then again go back to the ncloth. Sorry, ncloth and create an ncloth for this. Okay. Let's check. There it is. Right. So what I'm going to do here is now connect both of these, okay? Because then as the balloon inflates, it goes up in the air and even the rope actually moves along with it. Okay. So what I will like to do is select the vertices for this one. Okay, right click on the balloon, select the vertices for the balloon. Okay, and use a good old constraint which is called as component to component, because it needs to select, it needs to connect the components, vertex component of both objects. Okay, so just select and it connects. Okay, let's check. Okay, let's check. Yeah, there it is. It's connected. Okay, fine. So now the idea is making this balloon inflate and then gradually move up in the air. Okay, so what I will do is basically two things here. We have to inflate the balloon, one, and we'll have to make the balloon go up in the air as it inflates. So yeah, of course I'll be animating the parameter called as pressure. Okay, So if I just play it right now here, okay, and then probably it starts inflating from here. Let's say at frame 27. Okay, so I'll key the pressure attribute at that frame. Okay, and as it goes, probably as it moves ahead, I want this to inflate till here, probably gradually. I'll just increase this value quite a bit to, let's say, I don't know, point. Let's check a value of, let's say, 0.8 to start off. Okay, I just set a key. Okay, let's play and check it. Yeah, it does inflate, and I think that's the exact amount which I need. If I want that it should inflate more, I will probably take the value much higher. Okay, but I think that is good enough. Okay, uh, I want to see the keys here. I don't see the keys because I want to know where at what frame, from where frame until which frame is going to inflate. Okay, so that's what I'll do. Let me check it. Okay, so let's go into the channel box and close shape, and I animated the parameter for the pressure, right? So you see this, it's actually being animated from frame around 25 to 50. Okay, that's where the animation is going on. And around at that specific region, it will also start to move up in the air. Okay. So I won't be using the default nucleus wind here, because the problem will be that if I use a default wind to blow this uh, balloon up in the air, which is in the nucleus system. If you take, we have a default wind. If I use this one, say if I make this positive 100 here, it will move up. But then the problem will be, even the rope will also move along with the balloon. I want the rope to have some weight on it, so it doesn't, it's not as light as a balloon. Okay, so what will I do is, rather than using the wind here, which will act on both the cloth because they are part of the one nucleus system, I will rather use something which is just working on the balloon. So I'll just select the balloon and use fields and solver. I'll use some called as air. Okay, and I can predefine. We have a predefined settings which is wind, wake, or fan. Okay, so I will use wind probably. Okay, and I will use my own custom parameters here. Probably I'll just make the attenuation 0, the direction will be 1, and I'll check it. Okay, let me check what happens with the default value. So when I just play, as such nothing is happening, because I think what I'll have to do is, after frame 27, I will need to gradually increase the magnitude of the wind. Okay, so I will just set it, say probably at frame 20, just before the 27th frame, or at frame 15. Let me set a key to this. Okay, to this value, and as it inflates, I want it to gradually move up in there. Okay, so I will set this parameter to, let's say, something around, let's say, 23. Okay, let's experiment first. Okay, let's see what happens as I play this. It just starts to move a little bit up, if you see. Let's play and check it once again. It goes up, right? Probably what I need is, I don't need it to inflate so much, because it's quite a bit. Okay, I need the balloon to be probably in this shape. Okay, where it's not perfect round or circular. I just need it to be something like this. Okay, so I'll need to come down with my pressure. Okay, so if I check the ncloth settings again here, okay, uh, this parameter, let me actually go to the key here. This is my key, so I'll jump to the key, and on that key itself I'll change this parameter from something 0.5 to lower. Okay, let's say 0.4. Okay, and then you can just, to ensure, I'll just say key selected. So let's see what happens. So it won't have as much as pressure as before. Okay, so probably this will fall under the weight of the, yeah. I can actually hold it. Let's see. Okay. I will probably also increase the mass of this. So I have those attributes here for the rope of us. So select and let me see where the mass attribute is. Okay. Yeah, there is an attribute called as point mass. So I will try to increase that to, let's say, 5. Okay. So just having a little weight in it. There it is. So you get that kind of a shape where it seems to pull it down. See, it's not moving up as so much. Okay, I'll drop it. I'll drop it to 2, let's say, or even 1.5 is good enough. And this time what I'll do is just catch hold of this. Okay, so if I just right click on the vertex, select this, go to end constraint, and again use maybe a transform just so that it holds it. Okay. Something to hold on to. Okay. I will increase the time duration to 300. Okay, maybe more. And this time I catch hold of the controller by clicking on interactive playback. Catch hold of the controller and then I'll manually move it. Let's see what happens. So I kind of will manually move it. In fact, you can see even the rope is colliding. So if I get back, take this back to its default. So somewhere around here. Okay, what I will do is now once I cache it, of course, after I cache it, I'll be extruding this so it looks much like a rope rather than just a plane. Okay, and probably then I'll just add some smooth on the top of this so it just goes around. So that's how will I be working. Okay. So in fact, let me try it. And I'm doing this without actually caching it. Let's check. Okay. So modeling, edit mesh, extrude. Okay. And just extrude it a little. Let's go back delete again, and there it is. So in fact, what I'll do is add just to give, because I'll be making it smoother, I will also need this. So add mesh, insert edge loop, to just add one more segment here. If I click fill, it will make it rounder. See, in fact, I'll also smoothen this out. That's getting a little, it's bobbing down a little bit, but then we have not cached it, remember. So once you have cached it, once your animation is done, you feel it's correct, you can just do a cache, and then probably you can extrude or apply smooth on the top of this. Okay, right now definitely, because I have not cached it, it's actually calculating everything. Yeah, so there it is.